So I feel like with each child I've had, I've learned something a little bit different about feeding a family.
To other moms that may be concerned about feeding beef to their family, the one thing that I would say very clearly is to eat more beef.
I totally understand and appreciate the care that parents put into feeding their kids.
There are places for beef in a child's first foods.
I'm sure other moms out there can appreciate this, that your kids do not eat the same, even though they are raised in the same house.
And I think it's very sad to think that some people think that beef is a negative food source, when in fact it's filled with protein and iron and vitamins. So I would really want to sit down with that mom and ask her, where are you getting your sources of information?
You know, things like nutritional density. I didn't think that would ever be a huge issue, but when you've got a kid that you might get 2 bites out of, you want those 2 bites to really count.
I was looking up the other day, I was having a conversation with our pediatrician, and they were requiring 13 grams of protein a day. And I was like, wow, how many kids aren't getting that protein?
Kids need protein. Kids need to be fed a well-balanced diet that includes meat for them to go to school and learn, for them to grow up and be healthy and strong.
Beef is so nutrient dense and such a great source of protein, zinc, iron, all things that are so important in a child's early years.
When I hear someone have concerns about feeding beef to their family, my first question to them is why? Do you care to tell me a little bit more about the reasoning maybe why you're not feeding beef to your family?
I would say that there are beef producers all over this nation that care deeply about raising healthy, happy animals that go on to produce healthy, nutritious beef.
Once I hear their reasoning why, most of the time it's very easy for me to come in and correct the myth that they may have heard.
We feed it to our family because we think that it is part of a healthy diet for them and things that they need to grow and to be nutritionally sound.
I know when I was pregnant with Axel, the one problem I didn't have was an iron deficiency because I ate so much beef and I like to cook it in a cast iron skillet. You know, my doctor even said that should be a selling. I'm gonna use that on all my patients now. You need to eat more beef, you know. Let's look at your sources of information. Let's make sure that they are factual, they're fact-based, they're research-based, because if you look at most nutritionists and you look at most research, you're gonna find that beef's a part of a well-balanced diet that can fill us with wonderful nutrients.
So there are a lot of challenges and changes ahead for agriculture and the beef industry. And I think the biggest threat is probably just resistance to change.
So right now, I would say one of the biggest threats are just the cost of inputs. With fertilizer, fuel, all the cost raising labor, it's challenging.
But the thing that I see as the greatest threat to agriculture is just a lack of understanding.
Sadly to me, I think the biggest threat to agriculture is folks with opinions that are uneducated about agriculture.
Again, continuing rising inputs, continuing rising inflation, consumers not hearing the whole story and only getting one side of the story.
I think there's just a real lack of understanding as far as the importance and the value and the role that agriculture plays in our ecosystems, in our food systems, in our way of life.
Can sometimes lead to policies or changes even within government regulation that would hinder how we farm and how we're able to take care of this land and the animals.
As much as we want to honor the history and the traditions that we've had on our farms, I think it's important to see the changes and the challenges that are coming as opportunities to learn.
So you have to truly have a passion for what you do. You have to have a love of the land. You have to have a love of knowing that you are helping nourish the rest of the nation.
And just say people just don't understand. They just don't understand how important agriculture is, how important our food system is, how important food stability. We pay the least amount of money for our food in America than anybody else in the entire world.
Our fuel is 40% more expensive. Our feed is 40% more expensive. And so those are certainly current threats.
And so I think that one of the big challenges that a lot of farmers are facing right now are just that the input costs and helping know that they're going to be able to navigate these next few years as we go through this.